It was an interesting debate. And by the way, in case you didn't know this, because I didn't, there's a Democrat debate on Sunday night, right in the middle of a playoff football game. Nice scheduling, guys. Who's going to watch that? It's a Sunday night at 9 o'clock on NBC at the end of football season. They really do not want to have anybody watching those three candidates in the Democratic debate at all. Debbie Georgatos is with us again. She's a political strategist, author, and speaker. You've seen her on Fox News probably, and Ladies, Can We Talk is the name of her book and radio show. You can follow her on Twitter as well at Ladies, Can We Talk. Debbie Georgatos, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on.
Another late night last night, watching the Republican debate and the spin afterwards. Correct me if you think I'm wrong about this, but I would say that Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, I would grade around a B+, A- range. Donald Trump, a solid C+, followed maybe by Chris Christie, and then the rest.
I actually do agree with all of that. Did you watch the first debate also, the lower debate?
I did not. I was on the air for most of it. Then by the time I got home, it was too late. I saw some excerpts, and I know that Carly Fiorina had a few good moments in that debate. She would be great on the main stage. I like watching her speak. I don't know that I would vote for her, but I like watching her speak.
Yeah, I was going to comment. It sounds like a little bit Pollyanna, but I've been thinking it all day. So I'm going to say, both the first debate and the second debate, I really think everyone up there had their best debate ever, with a possible exception of Ben Carson. He just really seemed lower energy even than usual. But I thought everyone had, and it's an amazing thing when you think about what we're looking at, this presidency of the United States, and we have the other side, which no conservative could stand, whichever one of the candidates the Democrat side ran. We have an amazing array of candidates, and they really did well last night.
Yeah, these guys are getting into kind of a groove now, and some of the better debate moments. I really like watching Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio debate. They do it so well, but the downside of that is they also come across as extremely rehearsed, and it's somewhat disingenuous when I watch them. They're saying some of the right things, and they say it well, but neither one of them really evokes any sort of emotional passion for them.
On Marco Rubio, I was going to say, the one point he sounded really worked up, and it struck me as disingenuous, and he was trying to connect with the audience. He went through all these alleged flip-flops by Ted Cruz. You voted this way, then you did that. And that, to him, it seemed like thought he was making a point that would really resonate, and people would say, wow, yeah, you really got a snaky guy over there. And it just came across, I thought the comeback from a little later from Chris Christie on that whole exchange was very funny, just saying no one wants to hear any more about these, you voted this, you voted that. I thought that was it didn't make Senator Rubio look good, made him look like he was whining, and as you know, Ted Cruz came back and said none of that's true. I mean, you can hardly even go point by point, but yeah, I think he had a hard time making a case against Cruz. He tried to do it, and I don't think it went well.
Ted Cruz's best moment, of course, was his answer on the birther debate and the birther question, which I believe shouldn't even be an issue in this campaign. I can't believe it keeps coming up, but that was his best answer. Marco Rubio, I thought, had one of the better answers on the Second Amendment and gun control. And Donald Trump, I would agree with some other analysts today, won the New York values exchange with Ted Cruz. But if people are going to be attacking one another on flip-flopping and changing their votes, why is nobody attacking Donald Trump on a complete change of his entire political base? Hey, this man is a Democrat up until about 6 months ago.
Yes, exactly. It's attacking a voting record is down in the weeds. People can't follow it. But attacking the big flip-flops in Donald Trump's life is just, it is amazing. It goes untouched. I think that Donald Trump is so harsh in fighting back when people do attack him. They're not sure when they should do it. I think the public, people who are really tuned in, see it and are kind of amazed that there's this energy for Trump. But yeah, the candidates don't speak hardly at all. And it's one point, I don't know if the fact checkers ever pointed this out, but last night, one thing that Trump said that I think that someone should call him on, he said that Lawrence Tribe, who is a liberal Harvard law professor, he essentially said, he's saying Cruz isn't eligible. And actually Lawrence Tribe's statement many times in the news, even though he's a liberal, he's supporting Hillary Clinton on this question of eligibility. Lawrence Tribe said, and I have this quote right in front of me, as a constitutional scholar, yes, there is a scholarly consensus, and the most consistent view of the entire Constitution is that Ted Cruz is eligible to run. I mean, it was exactly the opposite of what Donald Trump was trying to say, and I don't know. I really wish there was a little more of countering of Donald Trump's kind of bluster.
Donald Trump never lets facts get in the way of a good soundbite.
Yeah.
And I've made no bones about not being a fan. I mean, I think I would have to vote for him over Hillary Clinton, certainly over Bernie Sanders, and purely from an entertainment standpoint, seeing a debate between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders would be amazing. However,
they could charge for it.
Yeah. However, Donald Trump is completely phony, and I think, and I'm afraid, we're watching the entire Republican Party eating its young and imploding upon itself during this election cycle. And not that the Republican Party is the be-all, end-all. I don't even consider myself a Republican anymore. But it's going to be the death knell for conservatism as well.
Yep. It's a really interesting kind of crossroads point we're getting to pretty soon in this campaign. The longer people, the broad list of people still running for president on the GOP side, the longer they stay in and present people with too many choices, an array of choices, it causes the failure or the inability of the public to really hone down and say, okay, what's a conservative saying? Let's say it's Cruz. What is Donald Trump saying, whatever that is? And what is the establishment saying? Pick Rubio or Jeb. It's almost that the public is unable to focus as well as they need to, because I think with fewer people in the race, more people would see where Donald Trump's shortcomings or failings are. I will say, I was grateful that he made his comment, and you may disagree with me, but I was grateful he said, and stuck with the idea that we have to temporarily halt Islamic immigration to America. Those kinds of things that nobody else dares say, I think that's why they're kind of glad he's so brave, and they like that he doesn't back down. But in the broad spectrum of real issues and all the issues you have to actually face as a president, it's like a loose cannon in the room.
Yeah, he worries me, but he's fun to watch. What are your thoughts on Ohio Governor John Kasich? I don't think he did himself any favors last night, but he didn't hurt himself as bad in the past debate as he has.
I would agree. Someone, I think it helped him work to not use those awkward gestures with his hands as much, because
right.
often it's distracting looking at him. He's waving his arms. So I thought he did better, but there's no compelling case. At some point, all these candidates should be asking themselves, what is a compelling case for keeping me in this race when America has the huge challenges we have? We have to win. The conservative side has to win this election this year. What's the compelling case? And I don't see it. And I don't think for Kasich he should see it for himself. I think the same is true of Ben Carson. I love Chris Christie as a strong character, an East Coast guy, and he did well last night. But I think there needs to be a willingness of some people to step back and say, I gotta, for the good of the country, reduce the size of this field. And I think Kasich needs to get there.
I think the next ones, and we probably will not see anybody drop out before the January 28 debate, but the next round of people I see needing to go, probably after New Hampshire and Iowa, would be Rand Paul, Ben Carson, Rick Santorum, and Mike Huckabee. It's only four, and you could question John Kasich and Jeb Bush. I'd like to see them without the everybody else. Put Carly back on the main stage, and let's do that as the final big group and see who comes out from that.
I love that, and I will say I'm glad you mentioned Carly as back on the main stage and staying in. There's something very wholesome about a woman on the conservative side, an intelligent, articulate. She answers the actual question she's asked. She really does a great job. And last night she had one zinger for Hillary, which I thought it resonated with a lot of people, where she said, I actually, unlike the other woman in this race, I actually like to spend time with my husband. And these are kind of little things that it's good for America to think about. Hillary and Bill are not a marriage.
A little catfight happening. I think I've got that Carly quote here.
Unlike another woman in this race, I actually love spending time with my husband.
Yeah, so I think that would be a Carly debate with Hillary Clinton would also be interesting to watch.
It really would be. And on Hillary, I'm sure you've noticed her poll number going down. And there's a lot of speculation. If she doesn't do well in Iowa, and she doesn't do well in New Hampshire, this idea whether, even though he said he wouldn't, Joe Biden would step back in, that could really throw a monkey wrench in this whole race.
Yeah, from a competitive standpoint, I would like to see Biden back in. It would make that race a little more interesting. I think Bernie is the Democratic Trump on that side of the stage, and nobody, unless you have to watch, nobody's watching these Democratic debates. They're scheduling them at the worst times.
On purpose,
yeah. Absolutely. Debbie Georgatos, the website is ladiescanwetalk.org. As always, we enjoy having you on the show, Debbie.
Thanks for having me. Great to talk.
John Kasich.